Hey YouTube and Spotify, it's Kel and I'm coming back to you with another podcast in my series about manipulation tactics. So today we're going to talk about the idea of passive aggressiveness or passive aggression. So, I mean, it's the same thing, but you can say it both ways. So we're going to talk a little bit about what does that mean. I remember when I was entering grad school for psychology and people would say, oh, they're being passive aggressive. And I didn't really know what that meant. I was kind of like, oh, I've heard that term a lot, but what does it mean, right? So I wanted to just kind of come on and say it can be a manipulation tactic. Again, manipulation tactics can be conscious. You could be, a person could be trying to manipulate someone. That's conscious manipulation. It can also be subconscious manipulation. It's a way to maneuver or control a situation without knowing that you're doing it, right? So, and we talked the other day about triangulation as one of them, and like that's a common one that is subconscious. People don't really realize that that's what they're doing. So, okay, so today we're going to talk about passive aggression. What is passive aggression? I'm going to make it kind of a brief video, but in another video, I will talk about I'm going to actually write this down. Clear communication. Hold on one second. Okay, so I'll do another video on what does clear communication look like, because again, a lot of people don't know these things. We're not taught these things in school. So and that's a whole other topic. I feel like we should be, but I was never taught what is clear communication in school. So we'll do another video on that. But basically, I'm going to sum that up. It's direct. It's, concise. It sticks to the point if you can. It's clear. It is hopefully considerate of the other person as well. There's, but basically honest and forthright, right? So, and discussing if you need to your feelings or your thoughts or whatever, right? And also good communication involves active listening in terms of taking in what the other person says and not just like, well, I'll do another one on active listening. There's so many different topics. So basically all I want to say for today is this idea of passive aggression. What is it? Okay. So passive aggression is usually very linked in a kind of reverse way to your ability to say no directly, or ability to have discuss difficult topics. If you can say no directly, you are usually not very passive aggressive. If you can discuss uncomfortable feelings directly. Okay, but what is passive aggression? Let me get into that. So passive aggression is when you respond to something passively as if it's okay, and then B, somehow have aggressive behavior later on that basically says that whatever was originally you were passive about is not okay. So I'm going to give you a good example because I feel like it's a way for you to see, exactly what exactly is passive aggression. So, a good example is like if your boss asks you, hey, can you lead a meeting at 8:30 a.m. every morning? Okay, let's just say can you lead a meeting for the team? Can you be here and lead a meeting for the team at 8:30? And let's just say your hours, used to be 9 or whatever. And you didn't want to say no to your boss, but you also, don't want to lead the meeting at 8:30. So what a passive aggressive response would be saying, yes, I can, I'll do that. And not, explaining any discomfort with it. And you'll just say, yeah, that's fine. And then later you show up to your own meeting 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late as an aggressive response to show that you really didn't want to do that thing, right? So that's like your behavior is saying, I really didn't want to do this, even if you said yes, but you really didn't want to. So so you were passive up front. you were not direct, you were passive, and then you were aggressive later by having some aggressive. And again, showing up late for a lot of people could be seen as not aggressive. It's not, that is not specifically so aggressive, but it is more of it's a kind of a rebellion against what you originally committed to, right? And it also doesn't respect people if you show up 10, 15 minutes late to your own meeting, right? So it does just very much say, I don't want to be doing this, right? If you consistently show up late, if it's one time, right? Obviously we all hit traffic, it's not a big deal. But like if you are consistently like never showing up on time to your own early meeting, that's a passive aggressive behavior. So in my opinion, the more respectful, healthy thing to do would have been to explain to your boss what your objectives were, what your concerns were, or, hey, asking, can we actually keep it at 9 or blah, 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 so, okay. So that is one example of passive aggressive behavior. Another one that a lot of times you see in relationships is if someone feels hurt about something or feels disrespected or whatever, they won't have the difficult conversation up front. They'll kind of just like, ha, ha, ha. And then sometimes like later on, you'll get a jab about it. So now sarcasm, I think is fun. If it's delivered correctly and in the spirit of love, sarcasm is, in my opinion, great, hilarious, ribbing each other. So funny. But when we've all known when sarcasm is delivered in a way to just insult you, right? Or to just express bitterness about something that they haven't actually communicated about, right? That is passive aggressive behavior. So just be aware, like, again, passive up front, that's the passive part of passive aggressive, and then aggressive about the same issue later, and basically expressing that you were not happy with that original thing that you seemed like you were happy and okay with. Passive aggressive is like where you throw kind of jabs, or you show in a way, in multiple ways a lot of times, that you were not okay with what you said you were okay with. Okay, so I just wanted to pop on and give that little tip because we're talking about manipulation tactics. That can definitely be one. Again, that can very often be unconscious. So when we're talking about manipulation tactics, they are not always conscious. And, I do feel bad for people who, and we've all, I think, done things kind of manipulatively, unconsciously, without knowing it, right? So the goal is just to get more aware of how we all could be more direct, more conscious in our actions, more aware of, and having more direct communication with people about everything, right? So, okay, I hope that this podcast found you well. I'm wishing you well, and I'm hoping that you are happy and healthy wherever you are, and I will see you next time.